net.
Good evening, and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline, report number 2,391, with a release date of Friday, August 25th, 2023, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. AM radio to the rescue in Maui, Hams hack a government satellite, and Hamvention loses a longtime team member. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2,391 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
Our top story takes us to Hawaii and focuses on the resilience and the relevance of AM broadcast radio, which was recently earmarked by some automakers in the U.S. for elimination from cars. AM radio's relevance is certainly not in doubt on Maui, where AM broadcast equipment is being put to work for wildfire emergency communications. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, brings us up to date.
The Federal Communications Commission has granted the state of Hawaii the right to use 4 portable emergency advisory radio systems. The stations, which include police and fire stations and a checkpoint, can be used on 1620, 1650, 1670, or 1700 kilohertz. The state purchased the 4 10-watt transmitters from Information Station Specialists, a Michigan manufacturer that provides transmitters for highway advisory and travelers information. The systems include a transmitter, a digital message player, an audio mixer, and a fold-out high-efficiency antenna system. Timely communications has been an issue during the wildfire crisis on Maui. Published reports noted that the island's emergency officials failed to warn residents and tourists of the dangers by failing to use a system of outdoor sirens. There were also reports the agency alerts were never delivered to cell phone users. One of the key arguments made by defenders for keeping AM broadcast in cars has been AM's reliability in delivering emergency information in a crisis. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Can amateur radio expertise help hack a government satellite, all in the name of helping the United States tighten up its cybersecurity? Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, tells us about some hams who did just that.
Some of the world's top hackers worked their way into an orbiting CubeSat known as Moonlighter to help the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Space Force expose vulnerabilities that could pose cybersecurity threats. The global competition known as Hackasat 4 recently announced the winners following the finalist rounds held in August. A team from Italy known as Macaroni captured the top honors. With skills in RF communications, reverse engineering, satellite operations, and vulnerability research paramount to success, a group of 40 full-time Northrop Grumman employees known as Space Bits R Us took up the challenge too, landing the 4th place spot. A number of hams were on the team, including Brian Wilkins, K04AQF, and Wyatt Neal, KD8AQS, the team hacking lead. Brian, who is a satellite enthusiast, a former AMSAT member, and a recipient of the Satellite VUCC Award, told Newsline in an email that being a ham helps deliver relevant skills for this kind of challenge. He said, quote, operators gain expertise in radio wave propagation, modulation, and antenna design, allowing them to understand satellite communication protocols and frequencies. Additionally, knowledge of software-defined radio technology enables intercepting, decoding, or modifying satellite signals, end quote. It has clearly paid off, not just for the government-sponsored contest, but for the Northrop Grumman team as well, which placed second in the finals for Hackasat 3. The real prize, however, is awareness. As Brian told Newsline, this will serve as, quote, a wake-up call to the industry. Obscurity does not equal security, end quote. This is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
Congratulations to India, which is celebrating a successful soft landing of a rover on the moon's surface. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, has that story.
Amateur radio operators joined the Indian Space Research Organization and the rest of the nation in marking the arrival of the Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft near the moon's south pole on the 23rd of August. India's delivery of a rover to the lunar surface follows its 2019 attempt, which crashed. Shortly after this successful landing, 4 radio amateurs in India proudly got on the air calling QRZ with the call sign AT2ISRO. They were being heard on HF, VHF and UHF as well as on Echolink through the 25th of August. According to Aruna Vaday, VU3XRY, who was one of the activators, this use of the ISRO call sign, like the moon landing itself, was a first for India. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Meanwhile, if you have access to Echolink, continue to celebrate the moon landing's success with the West Bengal Radio Club, SAARC Echo VHF net, until the 30th of August. Be listening for the special call sign VU2WB3CY at 1530 UTC each day on Echolink node VU2WBR-R. A longtime mainstay of the Dayton Hamvention has become a silent key. We hear more about him from Skeeter Nash in 5ASH.
Jim Teiderman, N8IDS, was not just a proud member of the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, but was deeply involved for years with Hamvention, dating back to the days when it was held at Hara Arena. Jim became a silent key on Wednesday, August 16th. His Hamvention roles included 2 years as the event's co-chairman and 2 subsequent years as its chairman. He also served as the advisor to Hamvention's special event station, which used the DARA call sign W8BI. Announcing Jim's death on the club's Facebook page, DARA's Michael Coulter, W8CI, said, quote, he was loved and respected by the club, his family, and community. Jim will be missed, end quote. Jim was 81. This is Skeeter Nash, N5ASH.
If you're not up to climbing difficult mountains and hill walking is more your thing, combining it with portable radio operations through an expanding award scheme might just be what you're looking for. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, brings us the details.
The first World HEMA Day is to take place on September the 1st and 2nd, bringing with it an opportunity for light exercise, fresh air, and perhaps some DX radio contact first that can qualify you for various certificates in the HEMA award scheme. This summit award scheme started in the UK, but has spread across Europe into Australia and is growing in Asia, Canada, and Oceania. HEMA summits are open 24/7, but this special day from 1200 UTC on Friday, September the 1st to 1200 UTC Saturday, September the 2nd gives the added advantage of concentrating the activity with the possibility of HEMA to HEMA contacts, perhaps with new DXCCs in the scheme and certainly with some never-before-activated summits. visit www.hema.org.uk to get the full details of this event and all of the other HEMA awards, but most of all, if you can, get out and enjoy being on the air in the fresh air. I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Animal rescue advocates have been on the air to make sure every dog has their day, or, in this case, their week. We hear about the special event from Ed Durant, DD5LP.
Dogs are an integral part of the physiotherapy practice that Hans van der Poel, YL3JD, and his wife Sandra operate in Latvia. The family dogs greet and cheer all of the couple's clients when they arrive, putting them at ease. Dogs also play a major role for Hans at this time of year through the special event station YL1DOG, which Hans activates annually in August in honor of the International Dog Day on the 26th of the month. He is joined this year by two hams in the UK, Chris, G5VZ, and David, G4YVM. They are operating as GB0 Dog and GB4 Dog, respectively. The three have been on the air using CW since Monday, August 21st. The special event concludes on Saturday, August 26th. Hans said that he was inspired by the special event held 3 years ago, marking International Cat Day. Hans told Newsline in an email he is raising awareness for the need to help pets who need homes. He said, in my power as a radio amateur and animal lover, bringing attention to these abandoned pets is the least I can do. In countries all over the world, the animal shelters are packed with cats and dogs, and I feel obliged to expose this. It's no surprise that the couple's dogs are former shelter animals. They adopted almost immediately after immigrating to Latvia from the Netherlands. It's also no surprise that next year Hans plans to be back on the air with even more special event operators around the world. This is Ed Durant, DD5LP.
It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K4GCC repeater of the Launch Information Service, an amateur television system in Cocoa Beach, Florida, on Mondays at 7 p.m. local time. Well, we're back from the Huntsville Ham Fest, and Newsline has one very happy young ham of the year. Let Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, tell us more.
The 2023 Young Ham of the Year presentation was held on Saturday, August 19th at the Huntsville Ham Fest in Huntsville, Alabama, and a very large crowd gathered for the annual 2 p.m. presentation at the main stage. 19-year-old Case Van Osbury, W0AAE, joined me on stage. Here are some of his remarks.
I want to thank two people, Neil Raff, who's right there, WB9VPG. He's really just pushed me to be my best and has connected me with so many people. And the second is all the people in Minnesota, the Minnesota Wireless Association. Of course, they're not here because they're out contesting right now during the North American QSA party, but they helped me set up my first HF station 4 years ago and have pushed me to operate CW, and CW is my one passion right now. They helped me in everything. Like just a week ago, they helped me put up a Yagi antenna in my backyard that I never thought was possible. I just want to thank them and Neil Rapp, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Case is a very impressive young man, and he fully represents the people who will be running the planet in a very short few years. Congratulations again, Case. Welcome to the Newsline Young Ham family. The nominating period for the 2024 Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Young Ham of the Year Award opens March 1st, and the presentation will be August 17th, 2024 at the Huntsville Ham Fest. Our thanks to CQ Communications, Yaesu USA, Heil Sound, and Radio Waves Antennas for their corporate assistance. You can hear the complete presentation on our website, arnewsline.org, under the Extra tab. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW.
As expected, research halted on August 14th at the U.S. National Science Foundation's Arecibo Observatory. The agency is now hoping to keep the site alive by selecting one of several proposals submitted earlier this year for the development of an educational center at the site in Puerto Rico. Cell MB, KB3TZD, has the details.
The doors to research at the world-renowned Arecibo Observatory have been shut. More than 2 years after the collapse of the facility's 305-meter-wide dish, an instrument that once tracked asteroids, gravitational waves, and exoplanets. The site's conversion into a STEM education and research center was originally planned for this year, but has taken longer than expected. Proposals were invited in late 2022, with the agency setting a February 2023 deadline for all those interested. So far, no decision has been announced. In the months following the collapse in 2020 of its iconic radio telescope, the observatory reopened its visitor center and observation deck. Scientists continued their research with other tools at the facility. All that has ceased as Arecibo, the site where the first binary pulsar was discovered, now ponders its future. This is Cell MD, KB3, TZD.
A Sunday night net held every week on Echolink is all about letting nothing get in your way of your time on the air, whether it's a physical challenge or the restrictions of a homeowners association. Stephen Kinford, N8WB, has that story.
Greg Miller, KD9VPJ, wants to help other hams make things happen on the air, even if there are obstacles of any kind that might make things more difficult. So he launched the Sunday night net known as the Ham Able Net just a few days ago. Check-ins for this weekly net begin on Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Central Time on Echolink. In a posting on one of the QRZ.com forums, Greg writes that this is a directed net designed to attract hams who, quote, may be dealing with both seen and unseen disabilities, end quote. He told Newsline in an email that no one should be hindered from enjoying amateur radio on account of what they believe are limitations, whether it is a neighborhood issue or a medical condition they are trying to manage. The Chicago-based radio operator serves as net control, overseeing the roundtable Rag 2 format that has 2 rounds. If you're interested in joining the group and checking in, search on Echolink for KD9VPJ or use direct node number 934347. This is Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
In the world of DX, be listening for Alan, VK1AO, operating as 4W/VK1AO from East Timor, IOTA number OC148 until the 30th of August. He is mostly using FT8 on 40 through 12 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. 4 radio operators are operating as E51D from the North Cook Islands until the 10th of September. They are AA7JB, HA5YD, HA7RY, and KN4EEI. They are setting up on the island with radio-in-a-box stations and will have remote operators worldwide. Listen for them on 160 through 6 meters using CW, single sideband, and FT8. See QRZ.com for QSL details. 3 members of the Czech D-Expedition Group are using the call sign 5X3K from Uganda between the 28th of September and the 7th of October. They will operate CW, single sideband, RTTY, and FT8 from 160 through 10 meters. For QSL details, see QRZ.com. Be listening for John, W5JON, using the call sign V47JA from St. Kitts, IOTA number NA104, between the 28th of August and the 12th of September. He will be on the HF bands in 6 meters using single sideband and FT8. See QRZ.com for QSL details. We end this week's report with the story of an overdue QSO. A long overdue QSO. Overdue, in fact, by more than 50 years, as we hear from Ralph Squillaci, KK6 ITB.
More than a half century has passed since Jess, W6LEN, and Ron, K6PAM, had their first CW QSO as new novice class operators. The 2 teenagers became junior high school classmates and friends in 1953 and studied for their tickets together. Jess received the call sign KN6QQB, and Ron's was KN6PAM. They had studied Morse code together, grew up together, were best men at one another's weddings. Life moved on. There was college, military service, family life. Ron, meanwhile, had gone off the air. The friends CW Rag Chews had long since gone silent, at least until recently. At Jess's encouragement, Ron purchased a cobweb antenna, put up a 40-meter long wire, and bought a rig. In a gesture of both faith and generosity, Jess then sent him one of his old pals. That, it seems, was all it took. Jess's telephone rang one night recently, and there was Ron, inviting his old friend to meet him on 40 meters. Ron told readers on Facebook, quote, his CW is coming back, and we had a nice, relaxed, long QSO. While Jess's life is now filled with chasing and activating parks and going after some big DX, The best QSO of his life, for the moment, is the one that reconnected him on the air with a childhood friend who lived just 2 blocks away. This is Ralph Squillaci, KK6-ITV.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. And we're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or field day participation, but something that's a little out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we'd like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, Brian Wilkins, KO4AQF, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, 425DX News, Facebook, at the FCC, Greg Millard, KD9VP, Hans Del Pol, YL3JD, HEMA.org, Jess Guadarrama, KD9VP, the New York Times, the National Science Foundation, Nature.com, QRZ.com, Radio World, shortwaveradio.de, the Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023. All rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 10 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening. I'm calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is Frank. My call is W8EZT, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open, directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. Start with some general announcements and then take check-ins from any club member or officer with announcements of general interest to the club. Once that's complete, we'll start taking check-ins 5 at a time. I'll confirm by call sign and then work those 5, then take the next 5 and work that way till we start running out of check-ins, then we'll take you 1 at a time. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give me your call, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and location. When all check-ins have been worked, we'll close the net after repeating the announcements. I want you to know we also operate an HF plus 6-band exploration net starting at 9:30 p.m. Tonight's net will be on 80 meters at 3.827 megahertz or thereabout. I think I've got my antenna working, so we'll see how that goes. If you have the capability and the privileges, we encourage you to join us. All right, coming up, some announcements. And first, I want to thank everybody who joined us at the club picnic. As you probably heard by now, if you weren't there, the rain just totally washed us out of Waterworks Park. And about 4 that afternoon, we decided to move it over to the church where we normally meet. And we had a very good event there, and appreciate everybody who helped make that happen. So thank you very much, then. All right, starting August 30th and working through September 6th is the W1AW/8 activation. This is a chance to operate under the call sign W1AW/8 anywhere on 160 to 6 meters using either CW sideband or digital modes. There are, of course, rules you have to follow. You are representing the ARRL in this event. There is a sign-up, and, of course, you've got to log contacts and turn them in to the state coordinator, who is none other than our own club member, Anthony K8ZT. So that's coming up fast. There is a sign-up sheet. If you go to our website, look on the left-hand side. It's right there in the first couple of entries in the big box there. All right, September meeting schedule has been reversed. Normally we have a business meeting on the second Wednesday and an activity meeting on the fourth, but due to the lack of sunlight or the loss of sun throughout the month and the fact that the activity meeting is in a park, we're going to have our activity meeting the first meeting, which is the second Wednesday. That's September 13th, and that's going to be called CFARC to the Field. We'll talk more about that down the page here when we get to that, but basically you go out to a park, set up a temporary station, and try to contact other hams, club members or otherwise. The second meeting of the month, September 27th, will be our normal business meeting, and we'll be winding down business for the year. All right, big announcement from Aries. Due to Red Cross schedules and changing schedules, Aries, Summit County Aries, is moving their meetings. If you're a member of Aries or want to be, their meetings will now be held the third Wednesday of the month. It used to be a Thursday. It will now be the third Wednesday, and we thank them for avoiding our meetings on the second and the fourth. It'll be 6 p.m. at the Red Cross on Market Street. And, of course, they can always use additional help, and they're now signing up people for both the marathon and I believe the Portage Lakes Triathlon. So if you've got some time, by all means do so. September 9th is the Ohio State Parks on the Air event. Basically similar to what we're going to be doing at the Summit County level, this is being done at the state level. You go sign up, activate a state park, set up a station in there and operate, make contacts, log them, and you're eligible for awards and recognition from that. The next day, September 10th, is the Finley Ham Fest. Let me pause for time here. And finally, this September 13th, about 2 weeks from now, is Seafark to the Field. Basically, the key is to go out to a Summit County park, activate it, that is, set up a station. You can be portable, mobile, pedestrian portable, or even operate from home, either a park or a trailhead, and from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, try to make as many contacts with other hams in the area as you can. Frequencies involved will be 6 meters, 2 meters, 440 megahertz for FM modes, and 10 meters and 6 meters for sidebands. So all of these bands are okay for technicians. So if all you have is a technician license, grab a friend, read through the rules, get ready to head out to a park, set up a radio and an antenna, and see if you can score some contacts there. And let's see here. Lastly, September 14th, we've got a VE session coming up at 6:30 p.m. at the Falls Library. That'll be, I believe, a Laurel session. And finally, again, we'll have our 80-meter band exploration net on 3.827 or thereabouts, assuming my antenna holds up in a little bit. All right, that's all the announcements I've got. Do we have any announcements or comments of general interest from officers or club members? Go now.
KD8VYT.
Go ahead, KD8VYT.
I pushed the wrong button and pushed the lock button, so it didn't release right away. Anyway, I just want to remind everybody about this coming Saturday, the 2nd, 7:05 p.m. I think it's 7:05. Well, be there by 7, you'll be good. The Akron Rubber Ducks at Canal Park Stadium in downtown Akron. Everyone's invited. To get tickets, which are $12, you need to visit the website W8WKY. That's the Sarah Club website. There's a place there to click on so you can order your tickets or buy your tickets. You have to print them out and bring the paper to the gate, and you can get in. We still need quite a few more to make it a good time, so everybody's invited. You don't even need to be a ham, you just have to buy a ticket. So hope to see everybody there. We've only got 6 days left. The deadline is Saturday by 6:30 to buy tickets. All right. Frank just put me in and out as my supper's ready. This is KD8VYT73.
Very good, Russ. I got you in and out. Thanks for the announcement, and go enjoy that meal. And by the way, for anybody checking in tonight, if you want it, I have a free 1 milliamp analog panel meter, probably 2 inches, 2 1/4 inches in diameter, hermetically sealed. Everybody checking in can have one up to the, I think, 20 that I have. So let me know if you want one. All right, do we have any other officers or members with any information or announcements of general interest?
Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar.
I was going to get you in there, but good, go for it. Let us know, and I do have one coming, maybe 2.
Are you talking to me, Frank?
I'm sorry, Vince. Yes, go ahead. As I say, I'm going to have 1 or 2 newsletter articles, but go ahead and put the plug in for asking members.
Sorry, Frank. You're way ahead of me. Anyway, yes, it's the time for the plug. It's time. It's the end of the month, and if you got something to write. If you want something in the newsletter, it's time to put it in there. Otherwise, you get the same old darn thing. Well, it's not the same old darn thing. It's the stuff that, Frank and myself and Anthony tends to put in there. And if Anthony's listening, I want pictures of that tower that fell down the other night. Other than that, that's all I got, Frank. Thanks for letting me break in there with the request for the newsletter. Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar, listening.
Okay, Vince got you in there as checked in also, and if you want a 0 to 1 milliamp panel meter pulled from equipment, I have at least 20 of them. You're are welcome to them. Just let me know how I can get it to you. That's tonight's bonus for checking in. All right, do we have any other club members or officers or trustees or anybody else with announcements of general interest? Otherwise, we'll start taking check-ins. All right, nothing heard. This is WAVPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night, VHF, UHF net. Hopefully your antennas are still up and running. And in that case, we're looking for 5 check-ins, call sign only. When I get 5, I'll go back to the top and work. Go ahead now.
HMS.
Got you, Steve. Next.
WO3X.
Got you, John. Next.
N8NH, Mark and Akron, in and out.
Okay, Mark, got you in and out. Thanks very much. Next.
K8PU, in and out.
Okay, you got K8PU, Larry in there, and somebody else was underneath. Other station, go ahead.
W8DIS, in and out.
All right, Bill, got you in and out. Was there another station in there?
AB8OU, in and out.
All right, Zeke, got you in and out. Next.
K8JR.
Okay, very noisy station in there. Last 2 call sign letters was JR. Would you try it again? Full call sign and name, please.
Charlie 8, Juliet Romeo, Andy.
All right, got you in there, Andy. All right, let me get back to the top here and start through this. We'll pick it up with Steve, K8HMS. How you doing?
Yeah, WAVPV in the net, K8HMS, here on the full 40 side. Yeah, doing okay, Frank. Just enjoying these cooler evenings, makes it good to sleep. And I did buzz by your house tonight. I didn't know if you heard me honk or not, but anyway, not much going on. Yeah, sorry I missed the picnic down there, but some other things came up, so. But other than that, yeah, did a little bit of the Ohio QSO party and Kansas QSO party this weekend, and was sorry to hear about Anthony's tower going over, and knock on wood, we did okay down here. Just had rain and wind, but fortunately didn't hurt anything. And yeah, I did hear you on a couple times, and you got a lot of wind up your way also. So guess that's about it. Hope to see you on 80. Back to net.
All right, very good, Steve. Good hearing you in there, and glad you got away with no significant damage. Yeah, we were, I felt the gust front go through, reported it to Skywarn, and I guess a minute or so later, Anthony, the wind picked up there, and he and Linda headed for the basement, and I haven't talked to him since he reported back, but I guess he had some, his big antenna tower came down. He said it was twisted off, which is kind of reminiscent of a rotational wind rather than a straight line, though what came through my place seemed to be a straight line, hard to say. And I think he had some pine trees down against his house, and he was mentioning his neighbor, they had a huge crane lifting trees off or out of the neighbor's backyard, so I guess there was some damage up along Stowe Road and in that area. We'll have to see if he checks in and what he says, and I definitely would like to see, I don't mean to be negative, but I definitely would like to see pictures of what happened. So, very good, Steve. I'll let you get back to whatever, and move along here to John, WO3X. WO3X, are you still in there, John?
Pressing the wrong button, or the wrong mic. Okay, yeah, good evening. This is WO3X. Talking about towers on Monday evenings down on 2nd Street is the Riverfront Cruise-In. And also at the same time, a church up the street is giving out free food, so that street that I would take to go to the Riverfront Cruise-In gets jammed up because there's so many people wanting to get the free food. So instead of turning left after coming down my driveway, I turned right today, and then made a right turn and ended up on Portage Trail. Then I went down Norma, and I thought, well, rather than just going on Silver Lake Avenue, I went down into Prang there. I went past N8LGP's place, and maybe the visibility's not real good out of the 56 Buick, for looking up. But I only saw one tower, so I was surprised at that. But maybe there are still two there. But if that was the tower, if that tower is down that was planned to be taken down, that was a pretty quick job. Over.
Well, John, yes, that was the tower that was planned to be taken down. Steve and I had worked on several plans that fell through because of just couldn't get the equipment positioned back there we thought we were going to need. And he has I believe, a brother-in-law or son-in-law that has a dump truck. And unbeknownst to me, and I really wish I had been there, but they didn't give me a call, so I didn't know what happened. They used the winch on the top of the dump truck bed to lower it down. He had to destroy, I guess, at least one of the beams to get it off. I don't, again, know the details. I've asked him to send me pictures. I haven't seen any yet. But it would make a good newsletter article. But yes, one tower is down, and I believe the other one is scheduled to come down next spring. It's kind of what hams do. You put up a tower when you're young, you use it for a while, and finally you get to a certain point, and just to benefit the wife and the family so they don't have to deal with it when you're gone, or you can't do it anymore, you make plans to take them down, and sadly that's what's happening there. So he does have one down. It was safe for everything, but the antennas at the top, I think they got pretty well chewed up, and I would imagine he's going to do another one next spring.
Okay, well, yeah, that was surprisingly quick, because we were just talking about that, and now it's down already. Okay, great. So with that, I'll turn it back to the net. W8VPV, this is WO3X.
All right, very good, John. Let's see, next up here, Larry, K8PU.
Evening, Frank. Everybody on the net. Not much here. Just great seeing everybody at the picnic. I guess we could still call it a picnic. Dinner or something. It's really great that we could do that. Had the church so we could go in, and like you said, everything's kind of all set up for us, and we had a good time. Food was great, and thanks to Anthony and everybody that put the effort into the burgers, and well, yeah, I guess you did the corn there at the church. It was really great. And too bad for Anthony. I heard him on the Skywire the other night when he came on and announced his antenna, or his tower had snapped off. I felt real bad about that. That's always a big loss, and he's really serious into the hobby, so hope he can get it all worked out. Okay, Frank, can't catch you on 80. My sticks don't do it, so catch you next week. Back to you. W8VPV, K8PU.
Sounds good, Larry. Great to see you there. And my sister, who I'm kind of easing into ham radio, was there, and she had a great time, met a number of people, and was very upbeat about it. So hopefully we'll see more of her also. All right, next up, Andy. I don't have the prefix. Something 8JR. Go ahead, Andy.
Well, thank you, Frank. The call is Alpha Charlie 8 Juliet Romeo, Washington Township, Stark County. And I just heard your net, and I thought I'd just hold off and put a call there and see if you could pick me up. Just got my 8900 back, and we didn't have any kind of wind damage in my area, but it's good to hear that everybody sounds like they're up and running. Back to net. AC8JR.
Very good, Andy. I got you in here now, and sorry for fumbling the call. Gosh, Washington Township, that's a long haul. You're coming in good. A little bit of noise on your signal, but second time through it was pretty clear and easy to copy. Glad you had no wind issues. Most people here, we had some trees down, and one of our members, KZT, lost a 50-foot, I believe 50-foot tower with a beam on it. Got twisted down. It was somewhat of a lightweight one, but I'm sure I don't know if I tend to believe he'll probably put one back up. He's very active on HF. So, all right, Anthony, appreciate the check-in. Have a good one, and we are at the bottom of the list here, so let me ID and ask for more check-ins. This is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night VHF Net. Now looking for 5 check-ins, all signs only.
KE8HJB.
KE8HJB. Got you, David. Next.
YAX.
KD8YAX. Got you, Forrest. Next.
KE8KVI, in and out. Trying to reach Chuck.
All right, Ron, I got you as in and out. Good luck. Next.
WD8MJS, in and out.
WD8MJS, in and out. Got you. All right, next. Somebody trying to get on the 440 side. You're bringing up the repeater, but can't hold it. Try more power, a different location, and that might only be a few feet from where you are, or a higher elevation. Go ahead again.
Kilo Echo 8, Oscar X-ray.
All right, I heard at that time, I think it ended, call sign ended in X-ray. Go ahead, give it to me again, phonically.
KE8OWX, Kilo Echo 8, Oscar Whiskey X-ray.
Oh, sorry about that, Thomas. Didn't catch it. Yeah, loud and clear now. Next.
Kilo Echo 8, Whiskey Golf Delta.
KE8WGD, Greg, got you. All right, I got 3, 4. We'll try one more. We have another check-in out there.
KE8ULA.
Got you, Leo. Okay, back to the top. KE8HJB. Go ahead, David. How are you doing this evening?
KE8HJB here. Just fine, Frank. Sorry to hear about some of the damage that people have had. I was listening that night, and I wasn't aware that it was that bad. But, of course, we were out without power for quite a while. And I'll just take the rest of the evening and just monitor. So have a good day, everybody. And KE8HJB is clear.
All right, very good, David. Good to hear you in there. You've got a good signal in the repeater. A little bit of noise on it, but fully readable. All right, KD8YAX, Forrest, go ahead. KD8YAX, Forrest, are you still there?
The number's up.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for the update on Claris the other night. Please do keep me posted. Wish you the very best then. Thanks, Forrest. Let's see, Ron was in and out, MJS was in and out. Oh, Thomas, KE8OWX. Go ahead, sir. Sorry, no copy. Just noise into the repeater. couldn't copy that, feel free to give it another shot. I'm going to go ahead and move on right now. KE8 WGD. Go ahead, Greg.
V. Repeater.
Hi, good morning, evening. I was listening during the storm the other night. That was the first Skywarn net that I'd actually heard, and it was impressive how much information was discussed, and it was shocking to hear how different the weather can be just a small distance away. We had pretty much nothing at our house, and then all our friends in Stowe and Kent and surrounding areas had really bad damage, so sorry to hear of all the damage, and hopefully nobody was injured. I don't think I heard of anybody reporting injuries. Back to that, KE8 WGD.
Oh, very good. And by the way, there is, and I did not make this announcement, I'm going to have to guess here, I think on Thursday the 28th, and you have to sign up for it, in the downtown Summit County Commissioner's office, don't quote me on this, either the Ohio building or one of the buildings downtown Akron, will be Skywarn training. Basically, National Weather Service personnel will give you a presentation on what to look for, how to measure a storm, how to gauge what's going on, how to report it, and at the culmination you'll get a Skywarn spotter's number, which gives you a little bit more credibility than somebody who just came off the street. So if you're interested, do some searching. I think it's on the 28th of this month, and it'll be in downtown Akron. All right, very good, Greg. Next up, Leo, KE8ULA. Go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Frank. Good evening, everyone on the net. So I was out of town. I was in Quebec last week. Missed the storm. But got in when I pulled in Saturday night. I noticed the city center here in Stowe, which is about a mile to my west. Looks like they got hit pretty hard. I saw a couple trees down. One tree looked like it was split in half. And then my neighbor, just 2 houses down, he lost a couple trees in his yard too. But it must have just passed right by my house. I didn't get hit hard at all. So fortunately for that. So tonight I'm on the HT. I got my FT60 out in the truck here. I'm running off the battery, and I got the dual band antenna up on the roof of this thing. I just wanted to check it out, make sure this setup's going to work. I was thinking I'd use this for Seapark to the field, hopefully maybe make some contacts that day. So I just kind of wanted to make sure everything works fine here and see if I was getting the signal out at least. And you know, like I said, I'll use this I'm on the UHF side of the repeater here, and I just thought I'd use this HT for the UHF side. And that's what's going on with me right now. So KE8ULA, back to the net.
Very good, Leo. You're coming through loud and clear, essentially full quieting into the repeater. So it should work fairly well for the UHF side of things. Very good. I look forward to contacting you. Try to get together with my sister and see if we can put together a brother-sister team, and one of us will run sideband and one will run FM as we bounce around between the bands and try to and then hand off the mics to each other when we raise someone, so we can double our scoring then. All right, very good. Appreciate it, Leo. And at this point, I am at the bottom of the page, so let me once again ID and ask for more check-ins. This is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night VHF UHF Net. This is Frank, W8ECT at the controls tonight, looking for more check-ins. 5 now, if you would. Call signs only. Go ahead.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo KE8TQR.
All right, Kilo, whoops, I fumbled at TQR. Name and call prefix again, please.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo Keith in Uniontown.
All right, very good. I got you, Keith. Next. All right, looks like I'm running short of check-ins, so we'll go back and take you, Keith. Hope you got through the storm without any significant damage.
W8VPV, KE8TQR. Good evening, Frank. Yeah, I'm down here in Uniontown. I slept through whatever storm we had the other night and didn't know there was any damage till the next morning. We didn't have any internet. That's the only way I knew anything was going on. And I found out later on that we had a lot of people without power. I am glad to hear that there weren't any major injuries, but I guess everybody is still picking up and straightening everything out. So I hope everything goes well for all those that were affected. And my tower project is coming along quite well. Just here last Friday, the concrete was delivered, and some friends and I were able to get the base in. So the concrete is in for the tower, and I've got that part of the project done. So now I can start with antennas, coax, and grounding. But anyway, great to hear everybody tonight. Hope everyone had a good Monday, and the rest of the week goes even better, and everyone gets everything back to normal. With that, I'll send it back to you, Frank, at Net Control. This is KE8TQR, saying 73 all.
Very good, Keith, and certainly good luck on your tower. I'll put a plug in for our newsletter and add that we do always solicit articles from hams doing projects, from just rebuilding their ham shack to putting up antennas and, of course, putting up towers. If you wanted to submit a couple of pictures and write a small couple of paragraphs of what you went through, what worked right, what didn't work, how you do it differently next time. That's the kind of invaluable information that other hams just love to see. It saves people from reinventing the wheel, if you will. So if you feel up to it when you get to the point when it's up and running and you're happy with it, by all means feel free to put together an article and submit it to our newsletter, and we would be happy to run it for you then. So, all right, do we have any more check-ins for the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night, VHF, UHF net? And so far, nobody has acted on this free 0 to 1 milliamp analog panel meter. I only have 20 left. Act now if you want one. Any more check-ins? All right, we're going to run through the announcements then. Starting Wednesday, October 30th through September 5th, is the W1AW/8 activation. Here's a chance to operate using the W1AW/8 call from 160 to 6 meters, either using sideband, CW, or digital, and basically make contacts on behalf of the American Radio Relay League. There are, of course, rules to follow. You do need to sign up for a particular slot, and you'll have to maintain a log and turn it into the Ohio W1AW coordinator, who, in fact, is our own club member, Anthony KZT. So definitely want to get on that if you're interested. Our September meeting schedule has been reversed. The activity meeting will be the first meeting of the month. That's the second Wednesday, September 13th. That's CFARC to the field. Park activation we'll talk about in a second. The second meeting, September 22nd, is our business meeting. So the first meeting will be back at the Church Inn will be September 27th. Starting September, the Aries meetings have moved from Thursday to Wednesday, the third Wednesday of each month, and they will be meeting November this year. That's at 6 p.m. at the Red Cross on Market Street, downtown Akron. I'd love to see you there, and I'm sure they're now looking for volunteers for both the Portage County Triathlon and the Summit County Marathon, or the Akron Marathon, I guess it's called. September 9th, let me pause for time here. September 9th is the Ohio State Parks on the Air. Same thing as CFARC to the field, only in this case it's for state parks. You sign up for and activate a state park, make as many contacts as you can, submit the logs for awards and recognition. September 10th is the Findlay Ham Fest coming up. That's a long one, Findlay, but it's a good one. September 13th is CFARC to the field. Activate a Summit County Park or trailhead from 4:30 to 7:30 on the 13th, either portable, mobile, or pedestrian mobile. If you're working FM, you can use 6 meter, 2 meter, and 440 megahertz. All of this is documented on our website, of course. If you want to use sideband, 10 meter and 6 meter are the bands available, and those are all okay for technicians. So if you're a technician ham with the equipment, we encourage you to give this a try. Grab a friend, put some equipment together, check it out, see how mobile operation is. And, of course, September 14th, we do have a VE session coming up. And late this fall, I will add, we do have the technician class coming up. It is announced on the website, our club website, cfart.org. So, by all means, check it out. Pause for a second. And finally, our band exploration net is on 80 meters tonight at 3.827 megahertz at 9:30 p.m. or thereabouts based on QRM. I think I've got my antenna working. I'll tell you the story if you get there. And with that, that's all the announcements. So one more try. This is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. Do we have any last check-ins?
WO3X recheck.
Go ahead, John.
What does somebody have to do to qualify for one of those 20 meters?
You just qualified. As a matter of fact, I'll give you 2. Next time I see you, I'll give you 2 meters.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks.
All right, I found a large quantity of them that I had picked up somewhere in the distant past. These are hermetically sealed, so you can't go in and change the dial, but and I think they're out of military equipment, but I got them for a very good deal, and it's things I don't want to take with. I will never need 20 milliamp meters, so you're welcome to 2 of them. Alrighty then, I think we're done with check-in, so in preparing to close this net, I want to thank each and every one of you who took the time to join us tonight and check in. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been Frank, W8EZT, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net, and we always have opportunities for other hams to become net controllers for our net. If you're interested, reach out to one of the officers and just say, hey, what do I need to do to become a net control operator? We'll give you the script and be standing by to help you a couple of times, and we'd love to see you there also. Alrighty then, at this time, I will close this net with 18 check-ins, myself included, and return this repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:08 p.m. 73 everyone, and stand by for our repeater. I'll have an announcement here as to the exact frequency our 80-meter net is right around 9:28, 9:29 or so. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. 73.
W8VPV. Repeater. Port. Link off. W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater.
When did you hear me doing that? I don't know. Couple times a day, sometime. I wasn't doing it today. call.
I wasn't doing it today, though.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Net Monday Night Band Exploration Net. My name is Frank. My call is WAEZT, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep members up to date about current club happenings. This net meets here every fourth Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by our VHF DOHF net at 8:30 and Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with some announcements and ask for check-ins for members and anybody with information of general purpose. Then we'll ask for all check-ins. We'll take them one at a time, because we usually don't have that many check-ins. And when we get done, we'll wrap it up, repeat the announcements, and shut the net down. So with that, we'll go to announcements. And first announcement, it looks like my antenna is working well. The squirrels didn't get it. We'll tell you about that later. Starting Wednesday, August 30th through September 6th, is the W1AW Stroke 8 activation. This is a chance to operate using the W1AW call sign on anywhere from 160 to 6 meters, either using CW, sideband, or digital. There are, of course, rules you have to follow. You will be representing the ARRL, so you've got to be careful there. You do need to sign up for a particular time slot, and, of course, you'll need to maintain a log to turn in to Anthony. This is a statewide event, and it's coordinated by our own Anthony Luscre, KZT, so hopefully you can join in and participate in this event. Our September meeting schedule is being reversed. We will have our business meeting as the fourth Wednesday of the month, the last meeting, and our activity meeting is the second Wednesday of the month, the 13th, as the first meeting. And that will be CFART to the field, which we'll talk about coming down here when I touch on that date. Starting this September and continuing on indefinitely, the Aries meetings are being moved to the third Wednesday of each month, 6 p.m. at the Red Cross on Market Street. That is a change from their formerly, for many years, Thursday event. So Wednesday, the third Wednesday of each month, 6 p.m. on Market Street. September 9th is the Ohio State Parks on the Air event. Same thing we're doing with Summit County Parks, only at a statewide level. Find a park, sign up for it, activate it, make contacts, turn in a log, be eligible for awards and recognition for all of your effort. September 10th is the Finley Ham Fest. And then finally, through September 13th, our activity meeting for September is CFART to the field. What you should do is, what we want to see you do is activate at Summit County Park or Trailhead, and then get out there from 4:30 to 7:30 and operate portable, pedestrian, mobile, or you can even do it from home. If you're operating FM, we have band openings on 6 meter, 2 meter, and 440 megahertz. If you're doing it on sideband, we have 10 meters and 6 meters, and we hope you'll get involved there. And finally, the September 14th, we're doing a Laurel VE session at 6:30 p.m. at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. If you know somebody who needs to get a license, wants to get a license or upgrade, here's a great chance to do it. All right, this is W8BPV. Those are the announcements. We're ready for some check-ins. Go ahead now, one at a time with your call sign.
K8HMS.
K8HMS. Hey, you're number one on both nets. Congratulations.
Hey, how about that? Yeah, son of a gun. Yeah, well, my
big old 60-foot long wire, I guess, is working out. Yeah, you're sounding pretty good down here, Frank. You know, a little bit of noise on you and all that, but yeah, glad this thing's working out anyway. Like I say, for 80, 160, I can't get a lot, but I do make a few contacts, so that's good enough for me. Anyway, that's about it. Wanted to hit you on both nets, and yeah, glad I got in first. So thanks for running both nets, by the way, and we'll be seeing you here. WAVPV, KHMS.
Very good, Steve. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. As you probably heard, I was having what I thought were antenna problems, and unfortunately it is surrounded with a field of poison ivy. Well, I finally managed to get through and cut that down about a week ago, and tonight ventured in there, tightened up the ground screws, which were not as bad off as I thought they were, wiggled some things around, and then realized that there's a big old leaf cluster hanging right between the grounded mast that supports the antenna, that is the negative side, and the very bottom of the antenna. I've got an antenna tuner right out the base there, and whenever that was wet, it was conducting enough to really act up and affect the antenna. So I pulled that off, and right now my SWR is looking real stable, and it tuned up on 40 about a half hour ago. So I think the problem came down to just a little old dried up leaf cluster sitting on my antenna, which is a good thing. Look for a story about it in the newsletter. There's also some squirrel damage to the coax, but it's hanging in there. All right, Steve, thanks for the check-in. We'll see who else is out there. WAVPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club. Go ahead now.
WO3X.
WO3X, blooming in. John, how you doing?
Doing real good here. Since Steve was first to check in on both nets, does that qualify him for one of those meters?
He gets two of those meters if he wants them. I'm giving away analog panel meters, Steve. You just let me know, and they're yours if you want them. Yeah, I found a box of, gosh, almost 20 of these things, and I figured they'll be useful for some experimenters. I'll set them out of hand test, see if I can get a buck a piece for them or something. Maybe 3 for $2, whatever. We did spray down all the screws with PE blaster and retighten the ground screws, but it's giving me a solid 62 watts according to the SWR power meter at 1.07 to 1. So it's singing along good now, and I heard Steve, and you're coming in real good. So problem solved. A lot simpler than I thought it would be. It was just getting that poison ivy out of the way to get back there. Anything else for the net, John?
Is that one of those 43-foot antennas that you tune with a tuner?
Exactly. It's a 43-foot vertical antenna of tapered aluminum tubes, and then 9 or 11 do I have? I think 9 runs of 50-foot 10-gauge copper wire, insulated copper wire, spread out as widely as I could do it, and then one of those automatic antenna tuners designed to work outside, sitting next or attached to it, and it's only good for about 125 watts, but it tunes up real good. I'm very happy with it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it sounds real good, and I have you like 30 over 9 here, so it's working well this evening here. So with that, I'll say 73 to you. This is WO3X, back to the net.
And I will add one other detail, John. I am absolutely delighted that I stumbled into using Andrew's Superflex for the feed line versus direct varial or some other RC8 type coax. I have significant signs, obvious signs. I'll put a picture in the newsletter. I think either squirrels or maybe chipmunks or both chomping on the cable and stripping the outer jacket off, and they get down to the corrugated copper, and they can't get through there. So it's still working fine, and if it had been regular coax, I would have been replacing it by now. So
I stumbled into the correct answer, and it really worked out well. I'm using hardline, flexible hardline for my feed out to my antennas there. All right, thanks, John. Appreciate it. W8BPV looking for more check-ins. All right, this is W8BPV. We'll try it once more. Looking for any last check-ins. Otherwise, this will be a very short net. We'll wrap it up here.
KE8YIR.
KE8YIR. Go ahead, sir.
Frank, this is Mark over at Hudson. Glad to be here and glad to hear everybody on the net. Some few that there are. Missed the earlier 2-meter one and also didn't have any antenna issues, luckily for me. And I understand the storm played havoc with a few people. Anthony B. case in point. And we dodged a bullet. It went south of us through snow and everything and caused a lot of havoc. Yeah, over.
Very good, Mark. Appreciate the check-in. And, yeah, it blew through here, but it just seemed to be a gust for about 45 miles an hour. So took some small twigs down and little clusters of leaves, but nothing significant. But, yeah, Anthony, a couple miles north and a couple miles east of me, and his neighborhood got nailed. And I know Stowe downtown seemed to take a hit. Their service center did. I know Graham Road was closed from the expressway into Stowe for sometime Friday while they were still, I assume, cleaning things up. And a buddy of mine, Bruce, had power out in Silver Lake. So a lot of localized damage, but, it's not a forest fire, it's not an earthquake, not a hurricane. It's just Ohio. Well, very good, Mark. Appreciate the check-in. Anything else for the net?
No, we were out of power for 2 days, which didn't make any sense because it was sunshine, blue skies other than Thursday night, and all day Friday, all day Saturday until about 11 o'clock at night, Saturday night, they turned us back on. It was kind of give and take there for a little bit, but we got through it. W8BPV KE8YIR.
Very good. Yeah, anytime you go about more than 18 hours or so without power, you start worrying about food in the fridge and the freeze and, what I do for lights. And it gets kind of boring. You're so used to, entertainment in one way or another. And you got to keep your cell phone charged. So usually you're out running off a mobile charger or something like that in the car. Well, very good, Mark. Glad nobody had any real damage there. How about you? All right, this is W8BPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, looking for any last check-ins.
WO3X recheck.
Go ahead, John.
Friday morning, my wife looked out the sliding door, and she said that there's a tree laying in the yard there. So Friday morning is our garbage and recycling pickup, and also we have one of those tan yard waste containers. So I went on and looked at it, and they had already come by and picked up the trash and recycling, but some days they're early on picking up the twigs in that container, and sometimes they're late. Well, fortunately, they were late that day. If it wouldn't have been a Friday morning, I wouldn't have bothered with it till some other day, but I managed to, I got my Sawzall with a demolition blade on it and cut the thing up and put it into the container, and then my neighbor said any time that they weren't using their container and I needed it, that I could use theirs. So I filled that one up, and then there was enough left over for one more container. But so what I did was I put that pile in the front yard, and when they came by and emptied the container, they go down the street and then they come back up and do the other side. Well, I hurried up and filled it up with that and rolled it over to the other side of the street, and they and they emptied it. So that was all taken care of. And the thicker parts of the branch that broke off, I put on my neighbor's firewood pile. So I got it all done that morning. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
Very good, John. Yeah, my sister lost a couple of trees, but she's got a chainsaw and she's borrowed my wood splitter, so I suspect she's been busy cutting and splitting wood, and let it season this year, and next summer, next fall, she'll have some more nice wood. Mostly, I think, maple, but I'm not sure. I couldn't tell from the pictures of the trees. Well, very good, John. I'm glad you didn't have any antenna damage done down there. Well, let's see here. I'm down at the bottom of my list. We have 3 check-ins. We'll give one more shot and then shut this down. Now, mentioning trash, I got to do my trash tonight. This is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night Band Exploration Net tonight on 80 meters. Any last check-ins? Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. All right, very quickly, because we only had 3 people check in. If you're interested in the W1AW/8 activation, see Anthony, KHZT. It's your chance to operate 160 through 6 meters on CW sideband or digital anytime August 30th through September 6th once you sign up, so you want to do that. Our September meeting schedule is reversed. We're going to do the activity meeting first, then we'll do the business meeting. The activity meeting is going to be park activation, September 13th. The business meeting will be the 27th. Starting September, Aries meetings are moving from Thursdays to the 3rd Wednesday of each month, 6 p.m. Let's see, September 9th is PCARS Ospada, Ohio State Parks on the Air. September 10th is the Finley Ham Fest. And September 13th is our small version of Parks on the Air, in this case, Sea Parks and Field. Go out, activate Summit County Park, make some contacts. All the bands are good for techs as well as generals, and, of course, extras. And check in and hopefully have a good time. Finally, September 14th, we're having a Laurel VE session. All right, this has been WADPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night Band Exploration Net. We're going to wrap this up if nobody has any last comments, so last chance, otherwise we'll close it down.
AB8OU.
AB8OU, I got you in there, Zeke. How'd you do, and how'd your antennas hold up in this storm?
AB8OU, the antennas held up fine. Had 2 trees come down across the chain link fence. But other than that, that appears to have been the only damage. But anyway, sorry I'm late. I was in a Zoom meeting elsewhere. So I'll say good evening to everyone and look for you next week, AB8OU.
Very good, Zeke. Well, chain link fences are pretty easy to replace, so glad there is no more significant damage there, and glad the antennas are up and running. Good signal tonight. I don't know if you heard, but the problem I was having with my antenna on 80 and 40 was a wet cluster of leaves laying between the ground side and the hot side. I'm sure it's somewhere near a voltage node, and they were getting, you can actually see some damage on them, so that's what all that SWR dancing around was. All right, then, in preparing to close this net, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who took the time to join us tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been Frank, WADCT, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, we will close the net with 5 check-ins, myself included, and return this frequency to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:48 p.m. local time. 73, everyone.